Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, NBC News, NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Audible, TE Live, JioSaavn, Rumble, and more. Good morning. I am Dr. Marissa. I am back broadcasting live from Southern California. And can you tell I am not happy to be back at all? Sarcasm is another service that I offer. And I am so glad that you're here because this is a show about hope and happiness. And if you can't start 2023 hopeful and happy, you're kind of doomed. But to help you out, this is why we're here first thing in the morning, every 8 a.m. Thank you for making me the number one 8 a.m. talk in the IE, soon Southern California. That's my intention for this year. And if you've missed any of my phenomenal guests in last December, Mark from Mark and Brian, Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith came in again, Layla Ali, the beautiful world champion boxer, daughter of Muhammad Ali. Go to my YouTube channel, free subscribe, and you'll get all of the podcasts there, all 851, but who's counting? Because I am proving anybody who said you cannot have a show that is positive and doesn't rip people around to be successful. And I owe it all to you. So I'm glad about that. And I know all the young women who are rolling in, their eyeballs are rolling. I know there's guys too, but I do have see, if I say anything about you being like the best co-host or the best looking co-host, then all my other co-hosts are going to be like, what? So I'll just leave you fill in the blank on the adjective. You know, take a look and then whatever you want to, yummy, delicious. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I might get like, I'm going to get in trouble here, but please welcome back to my studio, my favorite Thursday co-host. How's that? My very favorite Thursday co-host, Sam Works. Hi, darling.
Hi, Dr. Marissa.
Happy New Year. Yeah, this is our first look at each other since last year. Yeah. Wow. Right. So let's start with breakfast so that we can catch up using it as a gratitude exercise and do 8 things at the same time, which I like to do because I haven't talked to you. So I don't know anything that's happened. So let's do top of the bun, 8 things that you're grateful for that happened over the holidays. How's that? That way I can catch up. Or maybe we did. It doesn't matter. We're gonna do 8 gratitudes, and then if you want to play along, because I know some people are streaming in, go ahead and put your comments in, and we'll add you. And then we do less gratitude, so we're doing 8 total. And then the bottom of the bun. No, I didn't say are you top or bottom. I said 8 specific appreciations on the bottom of the bun. That's before you go to bed, but we're gonna like practice now. And as you can tell, this is not your average show. This is your series called Straight Talk with
Sam Works
and Dr. Marissa. So as you can tell, it might be a little early to be titillating, but I do my best to try to double entendre or triple entendre for this show and this show alone on Thursdays. So see if you can keep up on the top. Here we go. What are you grateful for?
The first thing I'm grateful for is having my sister back visit us, especially during the New Year's and Christmas, because she's in the Coast Guard, so she's in different states running around, and she's one of my favorite people in the world. So having her come
What's her name?
Her name's Rhiannon.
Rhiannon. Peace in, peace out, Rhiannon. Thank you for lending your little brother.
Older brother.
Older brother. Oh, that's so cute. I didn't know that. I didn't know you had a sister. I knew you had a brother, and I've met your mom. So we're just adding to stuff, right? Do you have a brother? You have a brother, right?
2 older brothers and then a
2
young.
older brothers. So I remembered right. I am grateful that I have my bio family, and then I have my bonus family. So I am grateful for the ways in which we can embrace both the families we're born into, and how in Chinese tradition, if you have someone who you are very close to, you give them the honor of calling them auntie, uncle, and I call mine bonus mom and dad.
No, perfect. I am grateful for surviving 2022.
I am grateful for thriving in 2022. Oh.
Another round of applause. I'm just kidding. A lot of buttons today. Another thing that I'm grateful for is, still being able to move around, walk around, and still, live my life the way I want to.
I'm grateful that it is blustering and cold and wet outside, and I have a roof over my head. I have heat if I need it. I have clothes in my closet. I have food in my fridge. I have money in my wallet. And for that's sorry. I broke my own rule. That was like 16 right there. But okay, go ahead.
She's very grateful. The last thing that I'm grateful for is Mr. Mark Westwood, because he takes care of me when I need it. So.
Oh, I was just talking to him yesterday. Yeah, peace and peace out. Yeah, and prayers and a breath of peace and comfort. He's having some medical procedures coming up, and so we're just knowing that he's going to heal really quickly, and the doctors are going to be super good and wise and all of that. That's out to you, Mark. We love you. And last gratitude for me is I'm so grateful. Both of my moms, my Chinese mom and my bonus mom, got COVID over the holidays, and they both virtually symptom free, which is like, crazy. Bonus mom's 90, Chinese mom's 88. And so that's amazing. And my bonus dad, who's 93, the saddest part is, they're so cute. They love each other. They sit by each other. They hold each other's hand. And this has been the hardest thing because they cannot be together. So, they do prayers on the phone now before they go to bed. It's so cute. They've been doing that they've been married 72, going on 73 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm super grateful that they're all, all pretty healthy.
And your mom's 88?
88. Good number.
Yeah, it must be a good year for her, huh?
Yeah. Well, it depends on when you catch her. But yeah, she's doing. 2 weeks I was by her side, so I'm glad that I was able to do that. Yeah. She has Parkinson's, and the drugs make her hallucinate, so it's a little tough. Yeah, but she's doing well. 88% well. Okay. All right, bottom of the bun. Appreciation, people. What do you appreciate about yourself? Please start this new year without looking for love in the wrong places. If you're looking for others to approve of you, how the fork do you think they can if you don't approve of yourself? So what do you like about yourself? As he yawns. I'll start. Finish your yawn. I appreciate that I am love-hearted, life-hearted, love-hearted. I feel fully, often and much.
I appreciate that I still dream, and not in like a legitimate sense, but I still have ambitions and goals that may not seem realistic, but they can be, so
Beautiful. I appreciate that I am satisfied
Mm.
88% of the time. There's a new one. I am satisfied 88% of the time. Somebody gave us a finger. I don't know if it was for yours or mine, but I just saw it. Thank you for the thumbs up. Oh, she's on a roll. Your turn.
Okay. Another thing that I appreciate about myself is I'm proud but not satisfied.
Ooh, okay. I could go so many ways. I'm I appreciate that I am resourceful.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Mhm.
I appreciate that, no matter what day it is, Sunday through Sunday, I try to be productive. I try not to have lazy days. Although there are some,
Mhm.
but no lazy days.
I appreciate that I juice my life. I just squeeze every little bit of yummy juice out of my life because you don't get a do over, at least not like this. And you can't, once this day's gone, it's gone. So people ask me all the time, why do you ever like sleep or relax? And I'm like, I can do that when I'm dead. I absolutely want to fully experience what life has to offer.
Go. All right.
I
I appreciate about myself that although I'm very selfless, I'm becoming more selfish because I'm able to do that. Now, if I had like a family and kids and all that good stuff, then that's when the responsibilities really start kicking in. But right now, I'm learning to really build myself rather than building other people. So,
Brilliant appreciation to end on. Thank you for having breakfast with Sam and I this morning with a bite of my gratitude sandwich. I just had a strong deja vu. Like we did this before. Not, I mean, we always do this every week, but just now that was woo. I'm getting chills. Okay, and today's topic is drum roll, please. Yeah.
I'm trying to read the caption. It's not loading, but I know.
Here's your topic.
Well, I like how you titled it. It was very clean. And today's topic, episode 852, is on men and emotions with co-host Sam Works and Dr. Marissa.
Is it a trick question when a woman asks a man, "What are you thinking?" or "What are you feeling?" Seriously, should men suppress their emotions or should they let it all hang out? And are men and women really that different around emotions? That's our topic for today. So, yeah, I like the way I said that too.
One could have said it better.
Thank you. I was saying to Colette yesterday, my co-host, she's doing once a month now on Wednesdays, and I said my favorite part of doing the show, besides being on it, is the prep and saying what do we want to talk about, and then like my co-host give me a topic, and then I get to play with my words around it. So I just love that.
It's the
So yeah. No, seriously. I call it a spiritual orgasm when I have downloads, like, they're not my thoughts. I'm just allowing the creativity and the juices and the fun of the universe to flow through me to play with words and to, design things or create things. That's a spiritual orgasm. So there you go. How's that for kicking that ball early? No, I did not kick him in the balls. So where were we? We're talking about emotions, and the moose on the table thing is men traditionally have been brought up, as far as I know, to the only emotion that is okay to show. It's not really okay, but it certainly is tolerated. As an organizational psychologist, I go and do executive coaching. And I have to say, from the baby boomer generation, men who are angry at work and are shaking their fingers and spitting and yelling and slamming, it somehow is okay to show that emotion if your position is high enough in the organization. Now it's a little different, thank God. You know, they bring me in to sort of talk to those people. But in the past, that's been allowed. And what emotion is not allowed is to be sensitive or hurt your feelings or cry or be upset or be depressed or to be whiny, you know, be a man. So that's where my generation, even though I'm ageless, that was the teaching subconsciously, consciously in the school by your parents, by teachers, for men to grow up. Now, is that true for your generation?
Unfortunately not. I like your generation, Dr. Marissa. I feel like that we should like convert back to that. And there's like a lot of reasons, a lot of like personal experience behind that. But in today's society, today's generation, I don't think it's there. I think that
Now I'm kind of stunned for a second. You mean you wish that men were still told or taught not to have emotions unless they're angry and in
no,
a position of authority? Oh, okay. Let's clarify. You say that because that's not the thing that I want to continue.
no, but just the continuum of just like everyday complaining is not a man, right? Like if you don't cry, you're not human. Like when there's a death, you should shed a tear, right? I'm not saying men should not cry because that would be a lie. I cried a couple of weeks ago. But I don't think you should come home every day and complain, or even like you had that 21-day no complaining challenge. Does that not support like my belief or your own traditional beliefs? You know what I mean? Like complaining really says something that you don't have control. And as a man, you should have control, responsibility, and respect, right? But you can't really respect someone if they're complaining every single day, and you can't really look at someone like, wow, they have control of their lives if they're complaining every single day. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
point to where like men should be strong, and being strong is doing stuff that you don't want to do, but you do it anyways because you're responsible, right? Like if you have a family of kids, your job is to put food on the table, to provide, to profess your love, and to protect. That does not mean, you know, do what you want. Because if you do what you want, let's say like I love, you know, I don't know, going to the amusement parks all the time. That's not being responsible, you know. Putting food on the table, how do you do that? Sometimes you gotta do things that you don't want to do, and sometimes that might be a job. Unless you have your career in what you love and enjoy, you're not really going to be complaining that much. But I know a lot of people, especially in today's society, they're struggling with the jobs that they're working in now. But that doesn't mean you should complain about it, because you can either think of it as like, you know, the glass half full or glass half empty. You know, like during Christmas time, I was like, oh, like I got to buy presents for everybody. But you can switch that around. You can be like, I get to buy presents for everybody in my family, you know? So when like a man comes home from work, he can either be like, oh my gosh, like I hate my job, life sucks, da da da. Or he can be like, at least I have a job. At least I have a family that I can protect and provide for. You know what I mean? But there is that rare occasion where, you know, things can just go overboard. You know, 88% of the time, you should not cry. You should not complain. You should not, you know, I don't want to say it because I can't say it on the air, but that 12% is okay. But I'm gonna say not in public. You know what I mean? Like that's private time. That's the 12% of the time that I feel like you should let your feelings out, whether it's with you and your significant other, or you and your team or whatever, because you got to complain to someone, whether it's to God or, you know, your own conscience or something. You can't just keep it all in, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow.
So
That was a lot of balls in the air for that topic. Not literally, but that's great. So let me see if I got that. So you're saying that in the past, men were stronger in the way that they took responsibility for the way that they showed their emotions in public, in that they put their big girl panties on, not literally, where they 88% of the time were more stoic maybe and less emotionally, you're saying right now the men that you've seen are swinging that pendulum all to the other side and whining about everything, complaining about everything, angry about everything, depressed about everything. And that pendulum has gone all the way to the other side, where it's like, I can say anything or all of that. Right. So my theory, and I do see that. I mean, part of the complaints about the millennials and the younger generation is they don't show respect. They do what they want. They say what they want. And I think part of what you're saying plays into that. But I would actually say that it is logical for us to be seeing what you're seeing and not liking it. I'm not asking you to like it, because it is a direct result of men being told you can't. 100% of the time, you cannot show your emotions. You cannot say what's on your mind. You cannot express yourself. You cannot. And so now it's like, well, I'm going to say anything. So in order to get to that middle of that 88% of the time, you got to swing that pendulum all the way to the end. You may not like it, but hopefully we're getting to that middle now where, like you said, 12% of the time it is totally okay and necessary, I believe, because if you don't feel something fully, it's going to come back and bite you. So tears are the disinfectant that keep your heart soft. I love when people cry because I know their hearts are open. So if you're a guy and you're listening and you just don't cry, my guess is at some point you're going to cry for no reason and you won't be able to stop, because that's how our bodies are made. Our emotions are made. What you stuff down will pop back up. I have a lot of middle-aged, they're having a midlife opportunity. Men who have not felt for a long time, and now they're feeling all the time and they hate it. So they keep trying to push it down. But I promise that if you feel appropriately, like you said, not in public and never hurting anyone, I'm saddened by the amount of spousal abuse that has happened during the pandemic, inside those walls, the pressure cooker. So yes, ideally, 88% of the time, you look on the bright side. Sam, that was a great role model. I'm going to take that piece for any young man who hasn't had a male figure and they're not sure how to emote. It was great. It was great.
Well, thank you. Because I think it's very dangerous to tell like people in general, like, hey, it's okay. It's like, okay, like what you said earlier. Honestly, the more freedom, the more chaos, right? Because people start not to care. Like, I know one of my friends, like, he doesn't care what people think, right? So when there's like a commotion, especially in public, like, I have secondhand embarrassment because he's yelling and acting a fool. But that's because he lets his emotions take over and he doesn't care what people think.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one bad thing. And on like the worst case scenario, where you like all these kids and younger people and you tell them like, hey, it's okay, like express how you feel, right? Especially that's really dangerous because there are kids who really express how they feel, and then that causes like school shootings and stuff, right? Because they're not holding back their emotions, they're not controlling themselves, they're not being responsible of their own actions, because like your thought process creates actions and your actions create consequences, right? So if you're always negative and always complaining, then there's going to be some actions that are going to be involved. And with those actions, there's consequences where it's like verbal abuse or physical abuse or even like mental abuse, right? Like to your own self. And it's just like you're not going to grow from that unless you like acknowledge it and change it. But most people, like once they're in the dark, they don't know how to turn on that light. They can't find it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Hurt people hurt people. That is something that I have really learned to understand more. In our society, we tend to look for blame. You know, as soon as there's a tragedy, who's to blame? Who can we blame? And oh, that person's really bad. And you know, shake your head. And that person should be put to death. And the reality is, we have to take some responsibility for a generation of people who are hurt and they don't know any better than to hurt. I'm not excusing people who hurt people, but we have to at some point realize that we went from a system of raising, parenting children saying, you know, don't cry or I'll give you something to cry about, right? That level of suppression, right? And don't feel, to, you know, oh, honey, how are you feeling? And that's good. And, you know, that other extreme, which has led to complete chaos because there's absolutely no limits or consequences or boundaries or anything else. And neither way has been very effective. So the balance in all of this, and which is it's so big. We're not going to solve this on one show for sure. But if you know any young kids or young men who don't have role models, who you know could use a little mentoring, do so. I mean, every child that I get to look into their eyes, I make sure I tell them, you know, you can do anything that your heart and mind desires, or that you put your heart and mind to. You know, there's hope. Like that in itself, I've been told 10 years later, made such an impact on that kid to know that, you know, I don't have to stay in this hurt. I don't have to feel all of the you know, whatever happened to me, it happened for me, not to me. So that, you know, if you see, if you're a young man, if you know, I charge Sam and anyone in your cohort group to find a kid who has is not from a single mom, lots of kids from single mom homes, to begin to, you know, hey, check in once a week. Let's check in on Zoom. What you doing? What da. And then that way, you know, you can say, you know, I cried last week. Oh, really? Is everything okay? Oh, yeah. You know, I felt sad about. What did you feel sad about?
Me?
Yeah, that you cried. Just.
I'm not afraid to say it.
Okay, but it involves somebody else.
It actually it involves us and this whole show and everything.
Oh, really?
And I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't gonna break it to you, especially on the air. At least not you. So
are you leaving?
I'm breaking up with you. No, I'm just kidding.
You're breaking up with me? Oh man. Okay, you know, so go ahead.
A lot of people, they support me in what I do and they appreciate what I do. Yeah. But for me and myself, like how I said, like I'm trying to focus on me now, like specifically me. There's a lot of things that I have to let go in order to do that.
Oh, are you saying you are breaking up with me? Oh, that's sure, okay.
I'm pretty sure we can still work this out, but I don't know who's all listening right now. I don't know if like Mark's listening or Fred's listening, but I put my notice in.
Oh no.
2-week notice. It's not today. It's in the near future. Because you know how Mark has surgery, and like
Yeah.
I want to make sure that we leave on good terms. Everything is properly fitted before I leave. You know, it's not just like a job. I'm like, all right, deuces, I'm out of here. It's like I respect the job, I respect my people, so I'm gonna make sure everything runs smoothly before I leave. You know what I mean?
Oh. You can't just co-host and not sound engineer. So listen to me. It's all about.
Dude, right? Because it's your show. I mean,
Yeah. No. I that invitation is open for sure.
yeah.
For sure.
Like,
Yeah. So you can you be like a regular co-host guest.
I don't know about regular. I don't know about
Well,
regular.
you're never regular. Sorry, wrong word. You're oversized. Like I would know. Anyway, so oh, okay. Well, then I know it's not personal. It's not my yeah. But I
Yeah.
wish you no, and I think that's great. I think that's good. And I love it that you cried because you allowed yourself to feel what the it's a great thing, but there's always doors that have there's no one perfect door. I'll give you this to leave with you for the rest of your life. Hopefully you'll remember this because my clients I find it extremely useful because it's tough when you have the next doors to go through in life, and that's where you are. So you went through this door called sound engineer and then co-host at KCAA, and it was a great time. Mark told me how he found you, and that's where your life was, and then you could have done this or this. And people ask me all the time, what should I do? And it's if you let go of the BS, the belief system, there is a perfect door to go through. Then you can see this door has these good things and these things that I'll miss. This door has these things and these things I'll miss. Let's say you have 3 possibilities. You could go full-time into real estate. You could go full-time into broadcasting. You could go full-time into get married and start raising a family. Let's say those are the 3 doors. I'm just guessing. And, all 3 doors have really wonderful things, and you can't do all 3 fully. So you have to choose. Now, there's other doors like stay in bed, have tequila every day, smoke weed, and do nothing. So that's like a stupid door to go through because you're going to waste your life. Another door is go out and go bar hopping every night, get someone pregnant, and that's a stupid idea door. So the doors to avoid, but these 3 are really good doors. And right now, the door that looks the best for your future and your prospects is probably the one with the real estate because it generates more money and, you make more connections, blah, blah, blah. So you're going to go through that door now. And you did look and shed a tear, which is the disinfectant that keeps your heart soft, about leaving or ending some of those other relationships that you really have enjoyed, that have really helped you along your path. And you want to express appreciation. The worst thing you could do is not shed a tear and turn around and spend the rest of your life saying, woulda, shoulda, coulda. What if I had gone through that door? What if I gone through that door? And then you're living backwards. So you spent this time. I'm glad that you brought it up in the show. I'm glad that because this is a beautiful way to send you off. It is with this analogy that anytime, let's say you hit a bump in the road on the real estate, the temptation is to turn around and go, oh, crap, let's see if I can restore, blah, 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 go back. No, you just continue and you just never know what is going to happen. You never know, but you look this way. 12% of the time you can look in the rearview mirror, but please don't reverse because then, then bad things happen. So that's what I'm sending you off with.
Well, thank you. I'll take that to the fullest. It was pretty sad. I'm not gonna lie. So I was just like, I was thinking about it one night, and then someone made me a plaque, and it says "Whatever works with Sam works," because that's like my show, And it was just like, in my at that moment, I was like, dang, like I'm giving up on you guys, you know. But at the same time, it's like I can always go back in the near future. However, like right now, I'm chasing two rabbits, but I'm catching none. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to dial in and trying to accomplish more than what I
Yeah.
have.
Good for you. Good for
Thank.
you. We're going to wish you the very best. And you'll still be on here 1 hour a week. Will be fun. I'm claiming that now. Because I do enjoy these shows because we can talk about everything. So let's talk specifically about emotional men in relationships. So I know that I do not want to be with a man who is more emotional than I am. Because I probably take enough space for both in that, because I am very emotional, and when I'm happy, I am uber happy, and when I'm not happy, I'm uber not happy, and I am not bipolar. I do believe that that term has hurt many people and robbed them of the ability to feel fully the humanness and the human kindness and the human wonder of who they are. And I will argue with people that it's okay to be fine, and I just want to be even keeled. That's bullshitaki. Even keeled through life is a boring life. Now, I'm not saying you should go postal. Now, sorry if I'm insulting, but that is an expression. You don't need to be going postal, every day. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you're pissed, be pissed. Don't be pissed at someone. Go take care of yourself. Go to the bathroom. Go into the stairwell. Be pissed. Stomp on the ground. Bite your pillow. Take a plastic bat to vinyl. Nice smacking sound. Do it alone. Get it out of your system. And when you're happy, be happy. Ask Sam if I'm happy, fully happy. I know when I'm happy, and when I'm happy, I want to fully feel happy, because that vibration then affects everything that happens after that. So when you're happy, be fully happy and be specific on what you want in life. And then when you're not feeling good, know this feeling will pass. It's just a feeling, and go general. That's from Abraham Hicks' law of attraction. Don't focus on the thing that you're pissed off on. Just, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. That's being alive. That's emotional. I want my guy to be that emotional, but maybe one notch less than me. Because if you're in two different places at two different times, that's not going to work.
Yeah, they say like when you get angry or whatever, like you have a chemical imbalance, like all your emotions running through your adrenaline, your blood flowing, all that stuff. But they say it only lasts about 20 minutes, and after that, it's just all in your head. So if you're mad or angry, yeah, be mad or angry for about 20 minutes. Do what you got to do, let it all out. But then after that, like, keep pushing. You know what I mean? Keep grinding, because that's just gonna affect your performance in life in general.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Absolutely. You lose, Psychology Today says 10 to 15 less IQ points every minute you're angry.
oof,
Right? You didn't know that, huh?
I know that. There's a book called Why Zebras Don't Have Ulcers.
I love it. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, and the reason why they wrote this book is because like when a zebra gets attacked by a lion, whatever, but then survives, okay, the zebra's not going to spend the next 2 weeks freaking out saying, oh, I got attacked by a lion. No, he just, after he gets attacked, he moves on, and then he continues eating, right? So the stress level is no longer there after the fact. You know what I mean? It's not the byproduct. It's just, it happened, and then that zebra, like maybe it's just because your frontal cortex, whatever, keeps it running. But zebras, they kind of like goldfish. Goldfish have really short
Yeah.
term. same thing, like same concept. Like whatever happened at that moment, but after that, they don't think about it, you know. And that
Yeah.
whole book is about not about going back and staying scared or staying a certain way in life because of one thing that happened.
That's a great graphic too. I'm going to ask him on the show.
Oh, that'll be great.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you can't enjoy that unless you're still a co-host. The bribing begins. The
So
um
I
go ahead.
the ulcers, like for human experience, is a metaphor for like not getting stuff done. Like if you're always thinking about what just happened or what happened a week ago, then that's your subconscious controlling your mind, right? You're not in the present, you're not focused, and you're not moving forward. So it's kind of like holding you back. It's going back to that other door. It's looking back at that rearview mirror more than 12% of the time, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
And that's where it's like it's important, especially for your emotions, especially for people in relationships, right? If like something like I don't know, I guess there's different degrees, like if your lady caught you cheating, more than 12 minutes of anger or emotional breakdown, but if it's like you come home and your wife is telling you to take out the trash, start cleaning, da 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 da, before you even take off your shoes, then that can be discussed, figured out, and solved in no time, and then you guys can move on. And
Yeah.
I think that's where you have control of your emotions, you have control of the relationship, because if you let your emotions control the relationship, it's over.
For sure. For sure. So here's a really a tip that has worked when I do relationship coaching, that when you are angry, it is very wise to um, they're doing some renovation here, so I hear it. It's very important to not say something that you're going to not be able to apologize for. And the expression that I love that I stole from Dr. Phil is, when you cannot unring a bell. You cannot unring a bell. So even in the heat of the moment, when you've lost those, hey Colt, I knew you would come on when I was on my Instagram. I haven't been on for a while. So Colt Reed is my red carpet bump dance partner, son of Greg Reed. But peace in, peace out. I know that the hardest thing, cheating or saying to someone, I hate you, or saying to someone, I wish I never married you, or saying to someone, you should be dead, kill me now. Those kinds of words cannot be forgotten. And no matter what you've done to help the relationship, all of that goes away as soon as you say words like that. So when you're angry, the most effective tool that I know is, I do not want to say something that I don't really mean. But at this time, can we decide, or before you get mad, you have a rule in your relationship, is when you have a disagreement, you both take a time out and you negotiate the time. So if one person needs an hour and the other person needs 1 minute, there's got to be a middle ground that you can decide on, so that you don't say something that you cannot unring. So that's been the best tip.
I tried explaining that to one of my girls, because they got mad. They were like, why don't you say something? Da, 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 da. Like, we're arguing, but we're not really arguing because I'm not saying anything. They're like, why are you shutting down? How come you're not talking back? And it's like, because I don't want to say anything wrong. You know what I mean? So give me time to like figure out what's actually happening and how I feel, so I'm not just, yelling stuff out of anger.
Yeah. So important.
And I know another guy who does the same thing. However, he's more of a male, not much of a man. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
When he does that, he seems a little less, like little, because like the girl in relationships like yelling at him, da da da, just beating him up verbally, and he's just sitting there. But he doesn't stick up for himself. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. X, Y, Z. We all, the whole definition. But like him and I do the same thing when we're arguing with our ladies. Like we don't speak up for the first couple minute or so, just so we can comprehend what's going on, and we don't say anything that's going to offend them or get taken the wrong way. Because I've done that plenty of times, But some women find that very annoying, and they hate it. They absolutely hate it, because like they're in the moment, they're in the midst of arguing. But if they're the only ones yelling, like it gets them even more angry,
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to cope with that one.
Okay, I'm so glad you brought this up, because this is the stereotypical thing that happens when men and women in relationships, or could be same sex or not. The power dynamic is one person is the expressor, and they're angry and they talk about it and they want a solution and they want it now. And then the other person either walks away, which is a shutdown. That's a physical and emotional shutdown, without saying we're going to get back and do this. They just shut down. And I'm one of those. And one of the reasons why I'm one of those is I grew up where I was, it was trauma to be yelled at. I was told, I'm going to beat you to death, dasani in Chinese. And, I hate you. You're horrible. You don't deserve to live. All of those things. So as soon as someone's angry, I shut down. It's an automatic coping device. It doesn't do me well in relationships. I'm trying to change that, but it's not easy. So the first thing, if anyone is having difficulty with a partner right now who shuts down, please have a little empathy that there's a reason hurt people, that they may be responding to the thing that they are. Hi, Katie Kelly, thanks for joining. So in cases where if you're the person, that you shut down, you got some work to do. I know in my marriage, we never fought, and I thought that was good. It was not good. I hear my fabulous bonus mom and dad, they bicker. They've been married 72 years, but they get over it so quickly. And there's no discomfort. There's no residue. There's no resentment. And that is a healthy relationship. So there has to be some conflict. And so I would say to the couples who are diametrically opposed, like you just said, hold hands, stay there, even if you're not saying anything, and let that feeling de-escalate, and then you can speak. Don't say anything when you're pissed, knowing you're going to say something. But once that flash flood of red wears down, you're going to say something extremely different. And I would challenge all those like me who shut down to ask yourself, is this a relationship you want to keep? Is this a relationship that you value? Then if you say yes, and you have to look at all the good things that have happened in the last how many years, then that'll give you the nourishment to form words like, I know it isn't personal, but this is how that impacts me. I know that I'm not perfect. I'm in my 12% right now. I'm not being reasonable, but I want to work through this. But I want you to just say, I get it. Even if you don't get it, just say that I get you. And that's a gender difference too. Women do need to just get it out. Most women, not all women, but they don't want you to solve their problem. They just want you to go, oh, baby, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I wish I could help, but I can't. But I'm just going to hold your hand. If they said that and not told me what I should have done, we'd have a lot more harmony at home. Men, that would be my, that gender difference there. So for women, you can be really clear, honey. I don't need you to solve this. I just need you to hear for 2 minutes. We're going to set the timer for 2 minutes, the heck of a day that I had today. That's all I need you to do is go, oh, baby, I'm sorry. That's all I'll need. And then I can go make you the best thing for dinner that you want, or we can go out or whatever.
See, and that's communication. And I like that. You want to know one of my favorite quotes? It says, never make promises when you're happy, never reply when you're angry, and never make a decision when you are sad.
I like that.
When you're happy, you overpromise things, like, oh yeah, of course I'll come do this, I'll do that, whatever. And then like when you're actually, you know, present with yourself and like, leveled out, then you're like, I was just really excited and I said that, And then when you're angry, again, you say the things that you don't really mean to say, or it gets taken in the wrong context, whatever. And then when you make poor decisions, you're sad. You know what I mean? And it's all pretty self-explanatory. But when I heard that quote for the first time, I was like, that's my quote.
Nailed it. Yeah, you're getting some hearts and fingers too. Someone just gave you another thumbs up. So that's great. I'm going to have to remember that. Yeah. And when, I love working with private coaching clients, because one of the things that our society has gotten really lazy about is placing way too much emphasis on feelings. If I feel bad, there's something wrong with me. If I feel bad, I need to take something to feel good again. If I feel bad, there's something, I have a diagnosis. And the truth is, when you feel bad, you're just feeling bad. And everybody will feel bad at some time. 12% of the time, you're not going to feel good. If you're happy 100% of the time, you're dead. That's not possible. So when you're feeling bad, and you don't need to overanalyze it. Why am I feeling bad? Well, I could think of a myriad of reasons, but why it'll pass. I just need to use the muscle. We've gotten so lazy about the one muscle called choice, that we can choose to feel whatever we want to feel by what we focus on. If you don't like what you're looking at and you're looking at something that's pissing you off, quit forking looking at it.
Hold its hand. Wait.
It just, some people will say, I hate this. And like, so why don't you turn it off? Why do you keep going there? Oh, this person said something on their post and it just pissed me off. And so I said this. And then what do they do for the next hour? Keep checking to see if someone responded to that. And then what did you just do? You just wasted an hour of precious time where you could have been helping someone, helping yourself, going and having fun, having a delicious treat, going to take a walk, telling a joke, laughing out loud. I mean, all of these things that you just wasted your opportunity to do because you hated that person or that thing that they said. It's unbelievable. Here's a strategy for the new year. It's called neglect. Please neglect people, places, and things that you don't like. Don't go there. Don't step away from the device, or don't poke the animal. If someone is complaining all the time, don't call them. Don't talk to them. Thank you, Kathy. A great topic. Longtime supporter. Thank you for that comment. Sorry, go ahead. Oh, shoot. We're almost out of time. That was my last word. Your last word is?
See you next week.
All right. This is Dr. Marissa and
Sam Works,
reporting live from my virtual studio during the pandemic, or we're out of it now. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Please do join me tomorrow for more Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa. Now go and have the best day ever.